Any questions before we start?
Can you give us some introduction about your career, sir?
All right. So my name is Pavin. I work as a pre-silicon design verification engineer in Intel. So basically, what I do is I design the digital hardware for the Intel processors, particularly on the PCIe IP, and I verify those designs. Yeah.
So Arun, can we start
Yeah,
our
Zong,
before that? Let us introduce ourselves. And my name is Ezekiel, and I'm from University Technical Malaysia Melaka, and currently I'm doing my bachelor's of degree in automotive technology. Arun and Chong, please give some introduction of yourself.
yeah, Zong, you proceed first.
Okay, good morning, sir.
Yeah. Good morning.
My name is Zhong
Hey,
Zhong
you
Zhong.
do not have to address me, sir, lah. All right. Don't worry about it.
Okay. I am currently studying at UTEM, University Technical Malaysia Melaka. I have studied the course Bachelor Degree of Automotive Technology.
All right.
Okay, good morning, sir. My name is Arun Raj, and I'm third year student pursuing degree in mechanical engineering automotive, sir. My group mate
Yeah.
Ezekiel Zong and I are conducting a interview as a part of our ethics and OSHA coursework. We appreciate for the time, sir. We appreciate you for the time and thanking you for the time you give us to share your experience and insights in our interview. Shall we move to the next question, sir?
Yeah, sure, sure. Thank you so much for having me, guys, and nice to meet you all automotive guys, right? Cool, cool, cool,
Yeah.
man.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, let's
Okay.
go.
Okay, sir.
Hmm.
The first question is, can you distinguish between ethics and professional ethics, particularly in the context of engineering, sir?
All right, so basically, ethics comes to the difference between right and wrong, lah, right? So basically, ethics can be installed in even children's or anyone for that sake, right? Sportsmen, politicians, right? That is general perspective of ethics, whether it's right or wrong. And of course, I don't think I have to go through what is right, what is wrong, right? It's universally understandable. But professional ethics, specifically in engineering, are basically the standards and guidelines we use in terms of our professional objectives or conducts in a professional setting, ensuring we have good command of the law, the safety, the welfare, the environment, in so many aspects, right? Like pollution or directly health issues, mental health, all those, right? You uphold the integrity of those ethics or those professional standards is considered more like the professional ethics in terms of engineering, basically. Yeah,
Yeah, nice, sir. Thank you for your insights, sir.
no problem.
Moving to the next question, sir. How
Hmm.
would you define a code of conduct within the professional realm, sir? Yeah.
So, code of conduct within the professional realm, right? It's more like having a set of rules where you follow. It's basically just law, but not something that is enforced by punishment, but it's just a rule that you hold in your professional setting, right? Like, do not take bribery, be as ethical as possible, be very professional, do not be very personal in your work, treat people with respect. So all those are basically how you can conduct your work in a very safe, professional manner, and these are the set of rules that's going to help you do that. So that is what I believe, and that is how I would define a set of code of conduct in the professional realm.
All right, sir. I appreciate your detailed response, sir. For the next question,
Oh, all right.
sorry, sir. Sorry, what was
Yeah,
it, sir?
go ahead, no problem, man.
Yeah, okay. Could you provide an overview of the five key principles typically found in the code of conduct for engineers, sir?
Oh, this is a hard one. Let me recall a bit. Of course, based on my understanding, the found on the code of conduct of engineers is the integrity. Integrity, that is very important. You have to be honest, and fairness must be implied in every decision you make, every calls you do, every suggestions you make. Competent, you need to be competent in whatever task you have to ensure the safety, the health, the welfare of any surrounding, not only necessarily public, but everyone there, including employees and everyone, on their safety and in terms of nature by itself. For example, you can't go do some work that causes benefit for monetarily or advancement of technology at the same time damaging nature by pollution and all that, right? So that it'll be considered into public welfare as well. Confidentiality, right? Certain informations should not be allowed for the public access of anybody. It could be something very personal, it could be something very damaging, it would be something that is actually protecting the trade secret of your company. So confidentiality is important. And last but not least is professional accountability, right? So whatever job you do, you have to take responsibility for that and make sure it's as ethical as possible. No illegalities are found in that. So those are the five key principles that are typically found in code of conduct.
I appreciate your answer, sir. Now
All
I
right.
hand it over to Zong for the next question. Zong, please proceed, Zong.
Okay, thank you, sir, for your time and kind support for today's interview session. Okay, I will
Uh,
proceed to my first question. My first question is why is it a requirement for a registered professional engineer work only if he has the control supervision?
So a registered professional engineer must work under control supervision because you need to ensure the safety and standards, the compliance, the quality of any work you do, right? So this reflects back to our code of conduct as well. When these are not met, very dire circumstances can be brought upon, right? So basically damaging in terms of safety, damaging in terms of health, damaging in terms of monetary profitability, reputation, all that are at stake. So we have to ensure the registered professional engineer must work in a very uh, progressive environment where he can do his best under the highest quality of safety, compliance, and industry standards. So industry standards, of course, there are multiple industry standards like regulations, law, guidebooks, handbooks, and all that, right? So inclusive of all that. Yeah.
Okay, good answer, sir. Okay, now I would like to proceed to my second question. My second question is, what are the regulations or procedures regarding a registered engineer taking over the work of another engineer representing the same client?
So this, if you look at it, right, it's basically something that we do in day-to-day lives also, right? So let's say you're taking over another person's responsibility. You have to ensure what he has done so far, how much you have worked on it, what are the methodologies he used, and then you take the transfer of ownership on your responsibilities. Right? Let it be anything, even as simple as repairing a car. You have to see what the previous workmen have done, right? Even if you're taking over as a cook in a kitchen, you have to see what are the ingredients have been prepared prior. So this applies similarly in the engineering background, but just a little bit more on technicalities, right? So of course you have to go through all previous work documentations properly. Communication is vital because sometimes they tend to miss out certain important factors that's supposed to be in the documentation, but it's not. Some variations of data, some variation of technicalities. So always having a good presentation of data when the project's crossing over, those are important. And if there's any change that was not on the initial plan, make sure that it's consented well, written well, and agreed upon both parties. And yeah, we always refer back to the code of ethics, the code of conduct, right? Is every job that have been done, being done, and the transfer of job is accredited by the licensing body, all these regulatory bodies, and every particular standard of industry standard is met before this being done. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir. For my last question is,
Mm-hmm.
in your opinion, what
Mm-hmm.
potential consequences could arise if a registered graduate engineer were to accept benefit from multiple parties involved in a project?
So, if you're talking about accepting benefits from multiple parties involved in a project, right? So, of course, it's basically conflict of interest, lah, right? So, at best, you should represent one party at a time for the benefit of the rest. Like what you see in the code of conduct, meaning safety, ethical reasons, awareness, public health, and all that, right? But in terms of personal interest, right, like what you just mentioned, benefiting personally, that would be a conflict of interest. That would lead to people taking bribery, hiding important issues just for the sake of getting it done. So yeah, you'll have a lot of biased decision making. Your professional credibility will be questioned. Potential legal issues may come up if people find out that you have conflict of interest. And yeah, it's going to damage the reputation, and of course might impact safety standards if that particular engineer decided to be biased or unethical in taking decision that heavily rely on maintaining the safety standards. Okay.
All right. Thank you for your input and feedback. Okay, now I would like to pass to my teammate Ezekiel to continue the interview session.
Hey, sure, man.
Thank you, Mr. Bawindan, for answering the previous questions, and I believe those answers can be really helpful for my teammates and I during our for our careers.
Yeah,
And now I
great,
would like
man.
to ask some questions regarding the registered professional engineers.
Okay.
For my first question, can you outline the specific restrictions and guidelines laid out in Regulation 27A for registered professional engineers?
So, guideline on 27E, registered professional in. Okay, yeah. So, of course, you need to have the professional conduct, right? So, I see a lot of your questions heavily rely on ethics and conduct, which is very good, right? So, something that you should uphold in your career and also your education, right? So, professional conduct, where integrity, honesty, following the standard of industry standards properly, and in all fairness of judgment, right? Second would be continuing education. You see, technology is ever evolving, so is production, so is progress of work. Hence, finishing a degree is not sufficient. You need to continuously progress and upgrade yourself as you go through time, because the continuing education will ensure you're always equipped with the best knowledge at moment to do your job in the most simplest, most efficient, most cost reducing and a very productive way, right? Competence, yes. So when you have an incompetent person doing something, it's gonna be damaging. Maybe they get away once or twice, but on the long run, it's gonna screw up, right? Imagine someone driving a bus but do not have a bus driving license. They're incompetent to drive a bus. Maybe it's being done in a very easy way, in a very easy road, but when things get complicated, they will not be able to pull it off, right? And it's illegal, by the way, right? So competency is important. Similarly in an engineer's work, a lot of people think once you get a degree, you're competent enough to be an engineer. Yes, on a certain aspect, yes, something that involves a lot of risk, a lot of safety concerns, a lot of environmental concerns. You need to have some sort of a competency upgraded certificates and all that. So you have to be competent in whatever job you do, and it's very highly encouraged to take in and upgrade yourself with whatever competency lessons or courses that is required for the particular work you do, right? And of course, public safety. So this is correlating with the competence. If a person doing the task is competent enough, knows what rules to follow, how to make a good judgment call when issues arise, right? I think public safety, half of the work is already done on the public safety part, right? When you have a question of loss of integrity, loss of competency, entirely, it will not only bring financial issues, but it will also impact others. And most of the time, a lot of public safety issues are concerned when that happens. And of course, conflict of interest, like we spoke earlier, conflict of interest will make you lose sight, will probably drive you to make unjust decisions, including not limiting to, but including bribery that can also again cause a lot of issues in many aspects, right? Pollution, public safety, and all that. So if you see all these are intertwined with everything, so that is why they particularly have this set of restrictions and guideline linked so that complement each other to ensure that we can work conducively, safely, not only for us, for the rest of the world as well.
Wonderfully answered, sir. Thank you for
Thank you.
your insights regarding the regulations 27A. Moving on to the next question. Why do you believe it's imperative for a registered professional engineer holding a practicing certificate to refrain from falsifying their qualifications?
So you see, a lot of people don't really think it in this sense, but when you speak about integrity and honesty, a lot of time people be thinking about lawyers, doctors, and all that, right? But policemen, right? But what they do not see is mostly because engineers work behind the scenes, right? We need to be very honest and very highly having hold very high integrity because it's fundamental to profession. Because when you falsely come up with qualifications, falsify your competence, meaning you're not fit to do such work, it endangers a lot of things, right? Safety, public, legal issues, pollution, financial issues, companies' reputations at stake, right? Livelihood matters. So we have to ensure that, again, integrity, as we have been speaking since the early of the interview, right? Being registered professional engineer, holding a practicing certificate, will ensure that we do not falsify qualifications, and it's very important to the work we do because, as I mentioned, when engineers lose integrity, it costs a lot. People die, nature's nature's devastated, finances are ruined. It's just that because it happens behind the scenes, a lot of people don't point integrity to engineers, but it really, really matters to us.
That's a very agreeable point, sir. And
Yeah.
moving to the next question, how does the BEM Code of Professional Conduct address the ethical responsibility of engineers forward both society and the environment?
So basically, the professional conduct have multiple times pushed and strengthened by mentioning that you have to be sustainable, you have to be integral in the community, you have to be accountable in your practices. All this will ensure if we follow guidelines, no damage is done, right? But a lot of times, it's very questionable where people do that or not. But from from what the board of engineers have mentioned and from years of being in business, from the conducts and the researches they have done, they came up with this guideline for a very good reason, right? So if you follow this properly and you take in account word for word what it says, it shouldn't be a problem anymore because I do not see any other guideline that has explained these issues and their consequences this well, like how you look at the BEM Code of Professional Conduct, right? It shows the importance of considering broader impacts on engineering decisions, communities, ecosystem, financial gains, in justifications, safety, health, environment. It covers wholesomely, right? So if you internalize those code of conducts and follow them accordingly, and the responsibility of engineers towards both society and environment is will be very much upheld to the highest level. That is what I believe.
Uh, Thank you, sir, for explaining your answer so detailedly. And
Okay.
for the last question, it's according to your perspective. In what stance does the BEM Code of Conduct take on conflicts of interest, and how do you think engineers should ethically navigate such situations?
So first of all, do not get yourself into a place where there is conflict of interest. But let's say you have taken on a job, taken on a position, and then only it came to light that you have conflict of interest. The best thing is you should disclose immediately. Tell your business counterparts, tell your customers, tell your upper management that you see this conflict of interest and what this conflict of interest could potentially do and how it might be damaging to the business, the environment, the safety, the integrity, the financial status, the reputation, and all that, right? Think about it and think of if it's not directly between two parties. If let's say your personal interest is conflicted, also tell them what we can do to ensure that your personal interest is not involved or what we can do to ensure the conflict of interest is resolved And if at all everything is done and still the conflict of interest is still there, you can't do anything about it, then it's about time we reshuffle the work arrangement that that particular engineer cannot hold that position, right? So the best way to ensure there's no conflict of interest is yourself reliably transparent. Of course, you can hide things, but if you're transparent, you tell, there's this, there's this, there's that, you can save a lot of damages in terms of environment, safety, money, rather than once everything have happened and then you say, yeah, I actually realized this 6 months ago, I just didn't tell. See, that is basically what we are trying not to do, right? So transparency, and how transparent are you in issues pertaining yourself or pertaining multiple parties that you can see the conflict. All right, and always look at the job you do from a third person point of view, because sometimes when you do your job, you don't realize that, but the third person may look at it and then say, hey, right, there's this conflict between the decision you're making and this party here, right? So always look at it from a third point of view as well. How does it impact from an overall bird's view? Okay. So, but ultimately, it's how transparent, how honest, how open you are when you see this kind of issue. And as noted in the code of conduct, always try to uphold it with the highest adherence to professional standards, industry standards, accountability, responsibility, and it should work out fine.
Thank you, sir, and I really appreciate your time for this interview. And I must say this, that I really appreciate your professionalism in answering these questions so detailedly and so understandable by us. And I believe that the answers that you've given would be much helpful for us in our future. Arun and Chong, do you have anything to share?
Yeah, thank you for the time, sir. We really appreciate it. Thank you for the time. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir, for attend the interview session today. Thank you very much.
Hey, no problem. Thank you very much, guys, and all the best for your education, for your course. I hope you guys will turn out the best of engineers you can possibly be, and all the best. It's an interesting career. It's going to be long. It's going to be tiring, but it's going to be worth it as well. So have fun while you do it, and do it responsibly. Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right. Thank
Thank
you. All
you,
the best,
sir.
guys. Bye bye. Have a good day.
Okay, goodbye.